Welcome everybody to our webinar today. We're talking with Ashley Bratcher with USA Baseball and Zach Heil with GameMaster Athletic. I'm Doug Jones with GameMaster Athletic, and we're here just to discuss this new partnership between USA Baseball and GameMaster Athletic around Baseball5. And a lot of questions coming up around Baseball5, this new and exciting game that is sort of expanding across the U.S., but really around the world. And we just wanted to have a little bit of discussion and share some insights into the game. So welcome, Ashley and Zach.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, and I'm going to start with you, Ashley. I just wanted to get a little background on USA Baseball and kind of how Baseball5 came into the picture with USA Baseball.
Yeah, sure. So USA Baseball, we're the governing body for the sport of baseball in the United States. And so we've got a lot of responsibilities in the game. First and foremost, grassroots initiatives, growing the game and the health and safety of the sport. But then beyond that, we field national teams at the youth level, the collegiate level, most notably at the Olympic and World Baseball Classic level. We have a women's national team as well. So a lot of moving parts here within the organization. But as a governing body, we roll up into an international governing body called the World Baseball Softball Confederation. And so the WBSC really steers baseball and softball on an international global landscape. I don't know, 6-7 years ago, they created Baseball5 as a discipline of baseball, softball, really with the impetus being finding a way to get baseball and softball into countries that maybe have lesser resources and ability to play the game in the more traditional sense. And yeah, since they launched Baseball5, it's played in over 100 countries. The WBSC has a Youth World Cup. They have a Senior World Cup. It's going to be in the 2026 Olympic Games, Youth Olympic Games, excuse me. And so, we just felt like as the game grows globally that we were sort of behind in the US. And as the governing body for this country, that it was, time for us to bring Baseball5 to the States and introduce it to, all the different communities and audiences that it could have an appeal for as we continue to try to grow the game of baseball across our country.
Amazing. Yeah, that's kind of what we recognized too, was the making baseball accessible to as many kids as possible, and recognizing that some kids don't have the same opportunities as others. So it's amazing, and great job with USA Baseball. So Zach, how do you see, what's the role of GameMaster in this partnership with USA Baseball, and how do you see that evolving?
Yeah, so I think we were introduced to USA Baseball, I want to say almost 2 years ago now. So I think it was October 22. We were introduced to USA Baseball and Ashley and her team through a mutual partner of ours. And, they had a couple initiatives they want to kind of work through, and GameMaster being a distributor into the retail stores from a product. And, most of our products are focused in that baseball space. A lot of those synergies kind of made sense. So we met with them, I want to say a few months later, and then kind of talked through some other ideas and products, and then some projects they wanted to work on. But the main focus was Baseball5, and we had never heard of Baseball5 until we met with the team down in Cary. And, it sounded like a good opportunity based on the need and the want to push baseball into the States and make this a game, again, that's accessible for everyone, because we're literally all you need is the baseball or the Baseball5 ball. So, fast forward to now where we are in 2024, we've able to get it in one of the larger retail sporting goods chains here in 2024, with a lot of excitement building around this product. So, as Ashley mentioned, baseball is a relatively expensive sport across the board, just with the bats, the gloves, the cleats, the jerseys, and everything that you need. Whereas Baseball5 is a fairly inexpensive sport, and it can be played really anywhere. You can play from the grass field in your backyard. You can play on an official, baseball field. So there's a lot of avenues there. But, along with the USA Baseball partnership, we just hope to grow the game of baseball as a whole, but specifically with Baseball5, moving forward.
Awesome. So Ashley, I know you talked a little bit about the audience, but as far as the rollout of Baseball5 with USA Baseball, who do you think you're working with primarily as the audience, and who's playing the game right now that you're recognizing?
Yeah, so for us, the biggest appeal of Baseball5 is obviously the adaptability of the game, and eliminating a lot of the complexities that traditional baseball would have. So first and foremost, just the venue. You don't need a baseball field. The equipment, as Zach referenced, bats, gloves, things like that. And then the other thing you don't need with Baseball5 is a pitcher, which really opens up just access to playing it, especially playing it year round. So where we found that this is the best fit is in school systems. So like phys ed programs where it's very hard to teach baseball, just again, because of all the reasons I just listed. You can do this in a gym, a regular gymnasium. You could do this on a tennis court. You could do this sort of in any open multi-purpose space that you might have within a school. So phys ed programs have been a big target audience. Intramurals on college campuses, where they're looking for mixed gendered, fast-paced games that, can kind of be played in whatever space is available. We've been working with the Boys and Girls Club as, after school programs and camps, that has a good appeal for what's really easy for a supervisor or, instructor to literally just roll the ball out, and any group of kids can, pick up and play what's essentially a version of baseball without all the other complexities. So those have been our, sort of targeted audiences as we seed the game in the United States.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. The absence of the pitcher, what we've seen, and I'm sure you have seen in the younger age group, is that fear
Sure.
fear factor. And I think this is a great way to overcome that fear for young players and get used to the pace and used to the style
Sure.
of play. So, Zach, so with this, like, it's a new derivative of baseball, but encompassing all those same skills. So how do you see that kind of affecting the back to what I said, maybe overcoming some of that fear of the game and building the confidence in young players? How do you see that evolving?
Yeah, I think, we talk about like the fundamentals of baseball. It's hand-eye coordination, it's fast-paced, it's catching the ball, it's throwing the ball, and all of those aspects are in Baseball5. As actually mentioned, there's no pitcher, whereas you're hitting the ball with an open hand or closed fist versus swinging a bat. So you have kind of that safety factor taken out. You don't have to worry about a bat getting thrown or anything. So, and depending upon the level of the kids or adults or whoever that is playing, it can be played at their own speed, So like if it's younger kids, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, they're going to maybe probably play at a little slower pace than someone who's 12, 13, 14 and has played the game a few times. But at the same time, you still have to be able to field the ball. You still have to be able to catch the ball. You still have to be able to throw the ball in a condensed environment. That again, all those skills translate directly to baseball. So when the kid does decide they want to play, baseball, it's pick up the glove, and they probably actually have better hands because they've been using just their hands without a glove, and better kind of mechanics and fundamentals and just better routines in play. So again, it's a fast-paced game, as we mentioned, kind of on a smaller scale and a field size. So, you can go through a game in 20, 30 minutes, whereas a normal baseball game, a lot of these games, Little League especially, have time limits because they don't get, where they need to from an inning standpoint, because there's a lot of swinging and missing. There's a lot of strikes being thrown and pitches being thrown and kind of a lot of standing around, if you will. So I think the fast-pacedness of this game really helps just to stay active, stay focused on the game, and kind of moving forward. So, and we like that it's a spinoff of baseball, but there's a lot of those, same components that come into play there too. But like if someone doesn't want to play official baseball, they can play Baseball 5, and you can, again, play it anywhere. Doesn't have to be super structured either.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think the hand-eye coordination part of Baseball 5, as I've dabbled with it, you
Right.
realize how uncoordinated I am, at least. But I think that hand-eye coordination of that is good. But you bring up that pace of play, and that's often a criticism of baseball. And I think as you know, certainly growing up in baseball and being around it so much, I appreciate some of the subtleties that are happening, but the parents sometimes criticize what the pace of play. So I guess Ashley, for you and when it comes to pace of play and the speed of the game, how do you think Baseball 5 is really helping to overcome that pace of play kind of criticism?
Yeah, so I think Zach hit on a couple of these things. But at the end of the day, a game takes about 15, maybe 20 minutes. A lot of, the pitcher eliminates a lot of the pace of play challenges. But, he referenced swinging and missing. If you're the batter in Baseball 5, you get one attempt to put the ball in play with your hand. And if it's fair, the ball's in play. If it's foul, you're out and we move on. So a lot of that is eliminated. The ball is in play and players are active and in motion, the majority of the time. And I think that also goes back to your previous question about the confidence of the athlete. There's really no spotlight on failure because the pace of play is so quick. So, especially for a younger athlete that maybe does hit the ball and it goes foul and they're out, before you can even really think about it, the next person is up hitting. If I'm an infielder and, I sort of misplay a ball and I don't get the out I maybe should have gotten, the next batter is already up. So I think that the pace of play maintains the interest level of the athlete, but also more importantly, I think, eliminates that sort of spotlight on failure and, just has the athlete rely on their instincts and really fine tuning their baseball, softball, the basic fundamental skills of the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I think again, like the skill development, I think is a great feature of Baseball 5, because I think and a lot of people, a lot of listeners who maybe hadn't been around Baseball 5 don't realize it's just a soft rubber ball. It's not anything
Yep.
that's going to injure a player or anything like this. And catching a ball is not a big barrier. So yeah, you're gonna miss hit, you're gonna miss throw, you're gonna miss catch. but I think those are all building blocks for skill development, which is great. And hopefully we're gonna see some of this evolution from kids experiencing Baseball 5 to then taking up baseball and softball and getting into those games and having less fear and more confidence. So amazing. Zach, so where can viewers, like the listeners that we have, where can you go to find out more about Baseball 5 or products, or it's pretty simple to purchase products, but where can they find out more about Baseball 5, the game?
Yeah, one of the main suggestions would just be to use whatever search engine of choice, whether that's Google or whatever, Yahoo, and just type in Baseball 5. So with that, then you'll likely find the WBSC.org website that's specific to Baseball 5. Within that site, I mean, there's tons and tons of information. There's video, there's pictures about the whole game being played. There's all the rules are listed there. So if you want to be as official can be, you can. But also you just get kind of the gist and an idea of the game being played. There's, again, some videos. So if what we're talking about doesn't make sense, and to me it didn't make sense originally, I'm kind of thinking like, how is that going to lay out? But it worked out to see a few videos and see, oh, here's how it's played, and you can kind of see the official layout and the size of the field or the court, if you will. That's where I would recommend to start. And Ashley, anything suggested you have as well, please.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of great resources. If you were in more of an education setting, there's they call them toolkit videos, but different skills and drills you can do. If you're in an educational setting and trying to, teach the game is also meant to be as informal as you want it to be. So imagine, a half dozen kids playing in a cul-de-sac, sort of making up the rules, and bases are whatever they deem them to be. And then there's the elite international level where you can go there and see videos and photos from, Cuba playing Chinese Taipei in a World Cup game. And, the Cuban player can hit 72 miles an hour with his hand, So, you can see the point of it is to live on a spectrum and to fit into whatever your needs may be, however formal or informal, and get people playing baseball or a version of baseball, sort of regardless of what resources they have.
Right. So, and I would add too, like, there's lots of content coming out from both GameMaster and USA Baseball. So I'd encourage our listeners to follow USA Baseball, follow GameMaster Athletic. There's lots of content, and we've got lots of great footage that's come out of some games at the training facility at USA Baseball. So we'll share some of that content and keep the discussion going. But hopefully this gets people excited about playing Baseball 5, and thanks to both Ashley and Zach for shining a light on Baseball 5 and the impacts on baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
me.